Good morning, our esteemed viewers, and welcome to our top-notch education consultancy programs. As you're aware, we have been dealing with the set books, and so far we've been discussing Fathers of Nations, the Samaritan, uh, Silent Song, and other stories. And currently, we are also reading through uh, Parliament of Owls. I believe that our programs have been beneficial to you, and you've gained a lot, and the much that you have gained is supposed to be taught to our students. Now, we want to still continue discussing Parliament of Owls, and we've been discussing Parliament of Owls for quite a while now. And today we would want to talk about the 8th episode of Parliament of Owls. Now, what is it that is in the 8th episode of Parliament of Owls? Remember, this episode comes at Act 3. So it means that so far we have had a discussion on Act 1, Act 2, and now we are at Act 3, the very beginning of Act 3. That is episode number 8 of the book Parliament of Owls. Now, what happens in this episode? It is at the sunset, after the morning when Arum Tidi was killed, or maybe other people would want to say that he killed himself. But remember, Arum Tidi was taken to the river Stonefront, and that is when he actually pecked himself to death. So we want to begin from this morning, the sunset. Ochongorio feels hopeless in this particular scene because of the death of Arum Tidi. They're wondering why they had to do away with him or to kill him, yet he was so close and working for them. Remember, Arum Tidi was the chief propagandist for the Parliament of Owls, but now he's been killed. So they're wondering why Arum Tidi was killed. But Tosoko tells the birds, in this case, Ochongorio, not to lose hope because things will get better. Tells Ochongorio that the only one thing that you can never lose in life when you're fighting for your rights is to lose hope. And therefore, in a way, Osoko tries to console Arum Tidi, not Arum Tidi really, but Ochongorio not to lose hope. So the three birds are actually reflecting, that is Telltale, Osogo, and Ochongorio. They have been reflecting on what is happening in the kingdom because there are so many atrocities that have been done, and they're wondering whether it is worth what is happening. It comes out that Arum Tidi had leaked certain information. That is why, that could be the reason why actually he was murdered or killed. Because they believe that he killed himself, but actually that is not it. They took him to that front of the river, and that is where he actually pecked himself to death. So there is this confidential information that Arum Tidi must have leaked to the little pea or the little parrot, and this information was not supposed to be leaked, and therefore when this information reached the so-called the little parrot actually took the same to the money bags, because it is believed that the little pea or the little parrot is a girlfriend to the money bags, and therefore this information leaked. And what was it about? That there was some discontent among the big omnivores. And here we are talking about birds like the vultures, the crows, the hornbill, and the owls. There was that discontent amongst these other birds against the owls, because there is a belief that they're doing so much for the kingdom and yet they're not getting as much. So these other big vultures, including the crows and the vultures, felt that there is need for them to speak out so that they can also be understood. So there was that building of tension amongst these birds, and the crows argued that they were not benefiting as a big omnivores from the rule of the owls. So there is that silent dissent. There is that silent discontent amongst these big omnivores that they are working for this kingdom, and yet they are not getting anything as much. And so this information leaked out. And when it leaked out, Arum Tidi shared this information with the little P. and the little p shared the same uh, to the so-called the money bags, and that is how Arum Tidi became an enemy, because such information was so confidential. These birds did not want to other people to know that there is a discontent amongst themselves. So this protest was well planned and secretly funded by the vultures, and therefore the royal trees had to counter it. There has been that discontent, and the royal tree, you remember, the royal tree is where the royal owls lives, and so when there was this discontent, there was need to counter the same. So they enlisted the services of snakes to raid the nest of the birds in broad daylight. And that is what the text says. Broad daylight, and steal the eggs to create insecurity, and thereafter introduce the law of birds protection. So there was that thing that was manipulated, was done by moneybags to make sure that this disquiet or the discontent is countered by the Parliament of Old. So what they did is that when there was this protest, they enlisted the services of snakes, and these snakes came and actually raided the nest of birds and ate the eggs from these birds. And therefore, there was need to create some kind of tension and probably come up with a new law. And this new law would be to make sure that the birds are protected. And how are they going to protect the birds? So this was a trick to make sure that now there would be inspection of their nests, and in the morning and the evening, and in so doing, actually they will be contained in one way or the other. So the snakes were chased away when the birds sought the services of Oyundi, or Vuchunglo, not Oyundi, the ants. So it was now tit for tat. Like when they enlisted the services of the snakes, the other birds also realized, and they used Oyundi now. Oyundi was the one who came up with this idea, so that the ants, or the so-called Ochunglo, would come and actually deal with the snakes. So Ochunglo was enlisted, or the so-called ants were enlisted, so that they come over and deal with the snakes, and that is how they scared the snakes away, and therefore again the nests were very safe. So the services, the snakes were chased away when the birds sought the services of Ochunglo, and that is what happened. This was done by Oyundi. Oyundi is like a small bird, but a very cunning bird. Just like in the animals kingdom, we have the hare, which is also a very cunning bird. So the fight among the big cannibals was so massive, they attempted to pass a no confidence vote on Mr. Speaker. And remember, Mr. Speaker is part of the Owls family. When they tried to do this, then this was supposed to be countered. And that is exactly what Moneybags did to counter it. So before long, there is the arrival of the little P. Little parrot arrives. And when she arrives, the conversation cannot continue because they believe that little P is a spy working for the owls to undermine the daybugs. So I wanted us to see this episode. That is a plot. I just wanted to take you through the plot of these episodes, and you are able now to see how things are happening, how Arum Tidi has been killed, and the birds, that is Osogo, Telltale, and the Choguri are mourning, and they're wondering whether there is any other hope left for them, because the rate at which violence is meted against opposition is becoming magnanimous, and therefore they feel that there is a need to do something. So while they are talking about this, we get to know quite a number of things, even the confidential information of what is happening in the kingdom itself, the kingdom of owls. There is a problem because the so-called the big omnivores in the family feel that they're not treated well by the owls. The owls are actually mistreating them or oppressing them. And there is a need for an uprising. So I wanted us to see this and probably connect with what we have been talking about. And we develop an idea from page 1 as we move forward. Remember, we are now in Act 3, and we continue to give you the best insofar as these episodes is concerned. May God bless you. Thank you very much.